Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope everyone is doing well. And I'm sorry that we are getting started a couple of minutes late here. I have been having a problem with one of my cables. Let's see here. Now let me get a couple more things fixed up here. Bear with me just a second. Okay. Let's see here. Turn off this light. All right. Not gonna lie, it's been a challenge here. I've been trying to figure out what's going on with this one ridiculous cable that was giving me an issue and was causing me to not be able to get the video signal to go over to the other machine, which is streaming to Facebook Live. So I have been battling that little booger, and it's finally working. I'm gonna double, triple, and fourple check to make sure that everything is showing up where it needs to show up. Okay. Hello to everyone in the chat room who's joining us live today. All right, let's check these audio levels. I'm going to go check YouTube. Thank you, Petra. Hey, do me a favor, guys. If y'all are seeing this in Facebook, give me a yes or thumbs up or something over there in Facebook. On the machine that I'm previewing it on Facebook is giving me issues. All I can see is the chat right now. So, Petra, give me an answer if you can see this on Facebook, please, madam. Seriously. Is the internet taking a break on me today? This is absolutely ridiculous. Okay, there we are. Live chat. Jordan is in the live chat. Okay, that's great. All right, so I know that YouTube is jamming. close this window and let's see. Okay, I see us over here, so that's good. So I know it is in Facebook, so that's good. Okay. We can see it. Wonderful. Okay. Yes, Petra, this is your first time joining us live. I really appreciate you doing that, by the way. Petra is over in the Netherlands. She's Netherlanding. That makes sense. If you guys will bear with me here for just a minute. Got like a million windows open. I swear, it's funny. It's like every time I start to do something productive, it ends up, everything ends up hiccuping, and it drives me crazy. Are you guys hearing the music okay? Does it sound too loud to y'all? Let me know. We're going to get started in just a minute. Today we're going to be talking about why your church should be live streaming and why you should add live streaming to your ministry. And it is, a lot of people think a lot of churches think that, we need to do live streaming, but they don't know what that entails, and they don't know necessarily what all can be done with it. It's not just putting a camera on your service and hitting go and then stopping. There's more to it than that. We're going to talk about that today. All right, let me go and check the computer. Hello from Little Rock. Look at that. Chris Oshinsky is in Little Rock. She's taking Church Training Academy to Arkansas, which is awesome. There we go. All right. Hello, John from Edmond, Oklahoma. John Duvall. Actually, today I'm going to show John Duvall's show as an example. Good old John. He's been a longtime follower and friend through some other endeavors I've done, other companies I've been a part of. So welcome, John. Welcome, Chris. Welcome, Jordan, my longtime friend, and Petra, and whoever else is joining us but hasn't chimed in. If you guys want to say hi, let me know that you're there. I would really appreciate it. I would love to be able to say hi back. And we're going to get started in just a minute. Again, if you're just joining us, usually try to start this at about 10 minutes till 11, and then actually, officially start the show at 11. But today, I got everything booted up early this morning, and everything looked fine. And then when I started, getting things prepped, it started vomiting on me, it seemed. And so, everything looks smooth over there, which is good. Hello to our friends over on YouTube. Toby Henshaw. Hello, Toby. Over on YouTube, Toby is joining us. Toby is actually the youth pastor over at our church, Hay Springs Baptist Church. Okay. Okay, I'm going to be doing a presentation today. Um, not a, well, it's a part of a presentation. It's a part of a presentation or a talk that I do when I'm asked to go speak, or a workshop I do. And I'm actually working a little behind the scenes for you guys. I'm actually working this workshop. It's been an in-person workshop with a hands-on component to it. So, we talk about things, and then we like break out some equipment and start doing it. Set up a TriCaster. I mean, it's a whole full thing that I do in there, and I'm trying to get it, I guess, optimized for doing like a webinar or something that I can do with a remote audience on a regular basis, and increase the chance that more people will be able to see it. I love doing live in-person workshops, like at a church, or I was asked to do one at a meetup, and I love doing that sort of stuff. And it's great when there's an audience, and they can come up and touch things and help me set up cameras and do all this kind of stuff. But there's that physical limitation. There's that you have to be there. You have to drive and walk into the building. And if you live in Denton, you may not come, and if you live in Oklahoma City, you may not come. So I really want to do this virtually, and use live streaming to actually do all the workshopping. Workshopping, is that a word? So I'm actually going to show you guys a portion of that workshop, just in our discussion about why a church or a ministry should start using live streaming today. Get into it like ASAP. So give me just a second here. I want to make sure my presentation is up and all that is ready. Jordan, if you would, please, sir, I would ask for your help, you or anyone that's in the Facebook chat room. Let's see. Hey, look, there's Jared Dart. Hi, Jared. I don't know that I've met you before. Welcome. Glad you're here, bud. Okay, so Jordan, my Jordan, Jordan that's a part of my team. If you would, please, the computer that I'm doing YouTube on and the computer that I'm doing the presentation on are the same computer. So if you would please monitor the YouTube comments and then put them in the Facebook comments, and that way I can address those if I have need. I don't want to keep popping back and forth. Thank you. All right, we're going to get started here in just a sec, guys. All right, guys, here we go. Just in case you guys are wondering, this live show is a um, serves two purposes. This is like dual content. This is live content because I want to interact with you guys and build a relationship with y'all and get to know the audience and stuff. But this is also a podcast. So what you're seeing is, or what is done between the official start and stop, the okay guys, here we go, that sort of stuff. That is what goes into the podcast, which is going to be launching here within the next day or so. I've got last week's show done and ready, and I've got a little bit of tweaking I need to do to it, and it's going to be ready, and the post is going to be up and all that stuff. And then this is going to basically, we do a live recording and live interaction on Thursdays at 11 a.m. Central Time, and then on Tuesdays, the actual podcast version of that goes up and hits YouTube and all that sort of stuff, and just kind of go in that cycle. So let's see here. If anybody has any questions or anything, please, I'll give you about another minute or so to drop something in the chat, and then we'll get started. I wish I could scroll backwards through the comments. That is what a booger is about Facebook. I'm going to have to figure out a better comment system. Something that's going to work and play nice. I'm actually working, I found a script that my buddy Leslie Samuels found that, I forgot I need to drop something into the TriCaster real quick. That actually connects to Facebook Live and grabs the comments and then puts it on just like a web page, just like a black with white, shows your the thumbs up and the hearts and all that sort of stuff. But what's cool about that is you can put that on a device. Like I'm going to put it on another screen and put it on my teleprompter right here. So when I'm looking at the camera, I could actually see comments and likes and stuff as they come through. So I'm hoping to have that running next week. I'm not a script dude or anything, so I've got some configuring and API garbage and stuff I've got to get figured out. But we'll get it. Let's see here. Yeah, Petra mentions a Slack channel. I think Slack is fantastic, and I love the idea of having like a continual dialogue just kind of throughout the day with members of the community. I love that idea. We've been doing that with Geeks Life and such and Geek Beat. We've been doing that for years. But I'm not sure if my audience is. I'm not sure where my audience is with something like that. I'm not sure if it is if they're already using it or if it's too complicated. I don't know. So I think it's something that I'm going to work into, Petra, and basically just let the audience be the guide. Okay. All right, I think we are finally stinking ready. So let us get started. Okay, guys, here we go. We are going to officially start the show, and I will be checking the comments. If there's like a, um, oh, I was reading Petra's comment there. She's like, "Woo!" And I was like, "What is she saying?" It's a Netherlands thing, I guess. I don't know. They're kind of weird up there. Okay, here we go. Hey guys, it's great to hang out with you again for our little show here. And in case we haven't met, my name is Dave Curley, and I'm the founder of ChurchTrainingAcademy.com, where we're teaching small and medium-sized churches how to use and exploit media and technology so that we can change lives. And I've been, let's see, I guess it's been a storied career. Over the last 20 plus years or so, I've been doing video production. I was doing video production way before we were doing any kind of podcasting or streaming or anything like that. And I was doing broadcast and stuff like that. And then I've moved into podcasting and web video production and creating content for, entertainment and for news and tech and all this kind of stuff. And then been live streaming for about, I don't know, almost 10 years, 9 years, something like that, since live streaming really came on the scene. And I'll tell you, it is fun, and it is a powerful, powerful tool. And that's actually one of the things we're going to talk about today is live streaming and live streaming for churches. And should your church be live streaming? Should you have live streaming as a part of your ministry? And why I think you should, and why I think you need to start, like when we're done here, that quickly. I've got a couple of slides I'm going to show you guys today that are part of a workshop that I do called Live Streaming for Churches the Easy Way. And, my response is varied when I'm talking to various churches. Some of them are like, hey, we need to be live streaming. We need to be doing it now. How do we do it? And then there's others that are like, I know that there's this thing called live streaming, and we have to do it. It's kind of like back in the day when the web started coming on and everybody started saying, I need to have a website, and should I have a website? And we have to have a website. And, and websites were basically these digital brochures. There was like no information that was kept up on it. They updated it as much as their brochure was updated. And now, it's an integral part. I mean, if you don't have a website, then you limit the growth of your church. People don't go to the Chamber of Commerce when they move into a new area. And, like when I moved to Arlington, I didn't call the Chamber of Commerce and say, hey, I'm looking for Baptist churches in Arlington, and I didn't get out and go driving around and checking every street corner and, nope, that's a Catholic church. I want a Baptist church. That's a Presbyterian. No, I want a Baptist church. Didn't do that. I got on, back then, I guess it would have been Yahoo. I got on Yahoo and did a search and eventually found 2 or 3 that I wanted to look at, and then I went to their websites and got an idea of what the church was like, and then I went and visited, and a couple weeks later we joined the one that we're at now. So as tools have changed, as media has changed and everything, it's important, I think, that ministries and churches take advantage of whatever mediums are out there, whatever technology is out there that they can, and exploit the snot out of it in order to reach people and change lives. Currently, one of the most accessible technologies that we have is live streaming. It is everywhere. Everybody's live streaming. Facebook is huge on live streaming. Facebook has an emphasis internally, and they're promoting it as well, on live streaming. They want that interaction. They want people on their platform engaging and having these fantastic experiences of all different kinds. Whether, I do an entertainment show, movie reviews and stuff like that. I haven't done it in the last couple of months. But I've got a couple of partners that are continuing to do that. And so people engage with us on that show. We talk about movies. We talk about television. We talk about, high definition video and stuff like that. All that great entertainment related stuff. And the audience loves that, and they love to have conversations around that. So we serve that audience. In this case, in the case of a church or a ministry, it is the growing spiritually. It is the spiritual learning. It is the Bible study, the engagement, things like that people crave in both a physical and a digital format, right? So I go to church every Sunday to gather with my my brothers and sisters in Christ and cheer each other up and encourage each other and learn from each other and learn from our pastor and our Bible study teachers and all that. You can do that same thing online. If you haven't noticed, we live in a 24/7 world now, so it's rare for everybody in your circle to work from Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We're a town here that has a car plant. One of the GM plants is here. So we have people that are first shift, second shift, third shift. They're just the audio here. They are living these lives that may see them waking up on a Wednesday to start their week at 1 in the afternoon, and they go in at 3 and they don't get done till 10, or they may go in at 6 p.m. or 8 p.m. and finish their day at 5 a.m. and go home and go to sleep. You see what I'm saying? So, and they'll do that Wednesday through Sunday. Kind of cuts out going to church time. Some churches are doing Saturday night services. They're doing, Sunday services. They're doing Thursday services or Wednesday or Tuesday services. You just adjust to whatever's going on in the area you're in, and make those adjustments and maximize those as much you can to reach as many people. So I say all of that to say that live streaming, when incorporated into your ministry, can help you do that, can help you amplify that, can help people join your church virtually when they're unable to join physically. So anyway, let's see here. All right, so I want to tell you, I was doing a workshop recently, and when I do these workshops, I do a workshop called Live Streaming for Churches the Easy Way, and it's a couple of hours. It's a workshop where we talk about live streaming and what you can do with it and why you should be doing it, and then we kind of get physical. Let's get physical. No, we get hands-on with some of the equipment. We set up tripods. We set up a live stream. I show them how to, get the free OBS, Open Broadcaster software, and we set up a live stream with that, and then we talk about upgrades and how to make it better, and then we, put together a TriCaster, and, like the one I'm using here, and, get a live stream set up using the TriCaster, and, so they get to see the whole gamut. And one of the things that I do when I'm going through the registration process on that is I send out a few emails. Obviously, I want to introduce myself so they know who they're going to be dealing with during the workshop, and what my qualifications are, that sort of stuff. And then one of them, I have a survey, and in that survey, I ask several different questions, trying to gauge where they are, where their church is. Are they live streaming? Have they considered it? If they're not live streaming, why are they not? And if they are live streaming, what would they like to see improved, or how would they rate it? And a couple of times per workshop, I get someone saying, we want a live stream, but we're not sure how many people are going to watch and whether it's worth it or not. And, I understand what they're saying. I understand, should we put the effort into it if not many people are going to participate? And I understand that. You're going to hear me say over and over throughout this journey, both in this show, as you guys become members of Church Training Academy and stuff, you're going to hear me talk about the technology and the production from a secular standpoint, if that makes sense. I make shows, okay? I produce shows. I set up cameras. I engineer shows. I make artwork for shows. I make lower thirds. I host shows. I make shows, okay? And I look at church media from a producer standpoint and from a content creator standpoint, which is every organization, period, whether it's a snow cone stand or a car dealership or a law firm or a ministry, they're all media companies, and they all do something media-wise, right? In the case of a church, a church is a media company when you step back, okay? And you're going to hear me say this a lot. We all stipulate that it's a ministry. The whole goal behind the ministry is not to make money, not to, put on big flashy presentations and all this kind of stuff. It is to change people's lives, to reach people with the gospel, change their lives, okay? So that they can go out and reach people with the gospel and change lives, okay? It's a network marketing. So, understanding that, yes, it's a ministry, first and foremost. Okay, we're going to set that aside now. We're going to talk about it from a practical, pragmatic standpoint, okay? It is a company, a nonprofit, that produces content on a weekly basis. So each week, your church is producing at least one live event. Now, I've got a friend named Damane, and Damane puts events together. He's an event planner, okay? And when I talk about events, I'm talking like Ferrari hires him to come out and, do the big, huge party thing where they're unveiling a new Ferrari, that they only have 5 that they've made or something like that. When you look at it from a overhead view, it's the same thing. He does events every week for various companies, various organizations and stuff. Some of them are huge and big and flashy and have Ferraris, and some of them are, glorified birthday parties for, some industrialist, or they are a conference or whatever, okay? Your church is doing the same thing. At least once a week, every Sunday morning, there's a live event. There's a stage. There are people coming up and speaking and presenting during that. There is audience interaction. You see what I'm saying? It's a live event that you're doing each week. So, understanding that and taking the content of that live event and then making it available for other people to participate in or to interact with beyond being at the live event actually makes a lot of sense. So, when I'm talking to somebody about do they want to live stream their event? So if we're going to do a conference and we have a 2-day conference and we've got guests coming in and we're charging $150 per ticket for the 2-day event, and we have the discussion, do we want to live stream the event? We're going to record the event because they're going to want to make that available for people to purchase, or as a part of your ticket, they're going to be able to see it offline after. Then we have the discussion about whether we want to live stream it and whether it's worth it to put the expense into live streaming it. And we talk about it from 2 different standpoints. Number one, how many people are going to show up? Is it worth it to spend $10,000, just round number, live streaming this event for 7 people to show up and watch it? Or is it cost prohibitive to do it because people will watch the event for free or for a discounted price and actually not show up at the event? Does that make sense? We don't want people showing up to watch the live stream, and in the live stream, the camera angles are getting empty seats. You see what I'm saying? So, when a church has that question, we don't know how many people are going to show up, and we don't know whether it's worth it. From a pragmatic standpoint, that makes a lot of sense. From a ministry standpoint, that would be akin to saying, we're not going to present the gospel this Sunday morning because for the last 2 weeks, no one has come down and made a profession of faith. So we're not sure how many people are going to come down and make a profession of faith and begin their relationship with Christ. So should we present the gospel? Yeah, you should, right? I mean, you're going to regardless. It makes sense. It's raining outside. Should we, how many people are going to show up on Sunday morning when it's raining outside? So should we turn on the air conditioner? And is it worth it? Is it worth it to put all that effort into getting up and getting down to the church and turning on the air conditioner? And, if we had some baptism scheduled, we got to put the water in the baptistry and heat it up. And, and it's raining outside. It's been raining for 2 days. So, is it worth it? How many people are going to show up? What if only like 10 people show up? Maybe send them home. You see what I'm saying? So, to me, the answer is it's always worth it. it's worth it to share the gospel during your service. It's worth it to show up and every single Sunday, regardless of what's going on, unless there's a gigantic, big, huge disaster. I mean, Katrina comes through and wipes out the city. Obviously, people are not going to be showing up. However, in a lot of cases, when there is a natural disaster, it's one of the first places that people run to seek answers and comfort is the church. So you probably do want to be open, or you want to have a tent somewhere where it's dry, so that people can come in and get ministered to. So anyway, the question is it worth it? I don't know if you guys know this guy. His name is Cliff Ravenscraft, and online he's known as the podcast answer man, and he's kind of like the go-to source for if you want to start a podcast. He's the guy that you go and learn how to do it, learn the mechanics of it, and how to present, and all this kind of stuff. And he's like the industry leader in how to podcast. And I was watching his show, and at some point I noticed on the monitor back behind him he had this sitting there, and it said, "I don't need easy, I just need worth it." And I co-opted that and kind of made that my mantra. You'll see I took the O in worth and put the CTA logo. Think about that for a sec. I don't need it to be easy, I just need it to be worth it. So when we talk about live streaming, or we talk about any kind of ministry, whether it's starting a new Bible study or live streaming or going out and just one of the things that our church does is we have partnered with the the apartment across the street from our house. It's a middle to low income apartment complex, and one of the things that we do on a regular basis once a month is we get volunteers from the church, and they go over there and they do laundry for the folks that live there. And we put up signs or go around knocking on the door, say, "Hey, gather your laundry and bring it down to us," and they bring it down to us, and we use our quarters and do it and fold it and all that, and then set it aside all nice and ready for them, and they come back in a couple hours. So is it easy? Not really. It's not even air conditioned in that room, and we're doing it in the summer. Is it worth it? Yeah. It's worth it because people have come to know Christ through that ministry. So it's worth it. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Same thing with live streaming. I want to show you. I did I'm going to play a clip here for you in just a second. I did some coaching with there we go. I'm still trying to drive all this stuff and present at the same time, host and all that, so it gets a little clunky. Don't worry, the more I do, the smoother it'll get. I did some coaching and got a local church up and running with live streaming. They were wanting to do it, and so I spent time coaching them. Actually coaching them remotely. It's funny, I could have run out there, but we did it like over Skype and stuff, and helping them get things set up and all that. And so the person who got all this set up, she emailed me a video, and it's of an elderly couple that is, they were given an iPad, and so they're sitting there watching the live stream while homebound. And I wanted to share that with you because when she shared that with me, it got a little tear in my eye because I thought, you know what? It's worth it.
It's been so long since we've been to church that we'd almost forgotten how great it is. And we really appreciate you guys doing this work to bring it into us so we can enjoy it and worship God in our own home.
Yeah. What do you think, Sally?
Well, I think, I have told people, that since we can't go to church, the church is bringing church to us. And they think that Shepherd's House is great for doing that for somebody that can't get there.
Yeah.
That's huge. So, is it worth it? Is it worth buying a camera and plugging it in to your laptop and putting some software on there and getting Facebook Live going? Is it worth it? I think it is. They're homebound. I was actually told that lady had a stroke years and years ago, and her mobility is really down. I mean, she can't get up and run to church on Wednesday night or Sunday morning or Sunday night or whatever. So is it worth it? I think it is. Let's talk for a sec about things that you can do with live streaming. There we go. So first off, are you live streaming yet? And what is the deal with all this live streaming anyway? First off, I want you to know that we are in the middle of one of the largest global shifts in the way people are communicating and consuming information. It's instant, it's visual, and it's compelling. And media is basically at the heart of everything that we do. We get our news from media. We get our information. We communicate with each other. And we do all that using media to one degree or another. I mean, where'd my phone go? Everybody is running around with their phone plugged in doing something. So the question for a church is, why do live video? I mean, you could actually, you could just record everything and podcast it and put it up later, and you can definitely do that. That's completely an option, and a completely viable option. There's no reason why you wouldn't do that, and actually say you need to do both. You need to live stream so people can be there in the moment, but then also have it available for them as a resource later. There's basically two types of live video, and I think I've been able to nail everything down into one of these two categories. I don't think I'm missing anything here. There's live events, which are, they're longer form. They are, for example, we've got a pastor right here preaching. So longer form, he's going to be speaking for, 30 minutes, and then it's more produced, it's more thought out. It works within a certain time frame, and it usually has a much higher production value. We've got a couple of different examples down there. We've got my entertainment show that I did a couple of years ago, and then we've got a Q&A session that one of our local churches, their pastor, they'll do a series, and then we'll come back like on Monday or Tuesday and do like a Facebook Live Q&A session, so we can maybe go more in depth with one of the topics or one of the things that we were talking about, or answer some questions, or interact more on the subject, and basically carry the conversation like throughout the week, the conversation that you start on Sunday during the live event, during your service. With those longer form, more highly produced, you've got certain platforms that let you stream these. They're more suited to streaming these long form things, like YouTube or Boxcast or Ustream or Livestream or Sunday streams, church streams, all that sort of stuff. But then you've got what I call the quick hits, and the quick hits, they're shorter, they're more raw. It's usually someone running around carrying their phone and holding it, and they're either going to be interacting directly with you, or they're going to be in this case. It's at a conference, this big one here. It's at a conference, and Dean Cain came up to do a talk or something, do a little interview. So she grabbed her phone and just shot it. It's herky, it's jerky, but you're there with her experiencing that moment live as it's happening. These things are very, very engaging. If you look at the one here where the guy's showing the audio board, that's a friend of mine that's he's a worship leader, and so as they're getting set up and ready for their Sunday service, he thought he would grab his camera and go around and talk to the people that are putting it together. So on their website or on the Facebook page, you can have some engagement with people talking and asking questions about, what soundboard is that, or are y'all doing this song, or this is funny, and the guy in the band is playing Stairway to Heaven, and he should be playing something else. Those are engaging. Those are relationship building things. It's the shorter form stuff. And the reality is that video is the future of our content consumption. Think about it for a sec. How often you have, as an individual, gone and searched out something on YouTube that you need to learn how to do, right? Our washing machine went out and stopped spinning and stuff. So I looked up, Maytag, whatever number that is, and gave a description of the problem and found a video about how to change, the actuator. And so flipped it over and changed out the actuator, and what do you know? It works. You know what I'm saying? Media, video, is what taught me how to do that. I didn't call a repair guy and pay $100 for him to just show up and bring a bunch of overpriced parts. I ordered the part for $16, flipped it over, and did it myself. Video, right? Mark Zuckerberg, in a BuzzFeed interview, said that he wouldn't be surprised if you fast forwarded 5 years and most of the content that people see on Facebook and are sharing day to day is video. He said he wouldn't be surprised if that happened. And then his head of operations in Europe said, just flat out, that in 5 years, Facebook will definitely be mobile and it will probably be all video. So if you think about for a sec, how much of the content that you consume on Facebook, just Facebook alone, is visual content? Ask yourself that. Are you reading posts more regularly from your friends where they're telling you what's going on? Or are you watching a video of them showing you what's going on, or some other kind of funny video or informative video or news video or something like that, right? Even more so now, I think, than imagery. A couple of years ago, it was like pictures, 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 pictures. And now it's like picture, picture, video, 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 picture, picture, video, 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 prayer request, video, video, video. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about Facebook Live for a sec. And we're just going to kind of hit on Facebook Live very quickly. Why Facebook Live? Like, Facebook just said they had like 2 billion people on Facebook. It's obvious everybody is on Facebook. We got 7 billion on the planet. 2 billion of them are using Facebook on a regular basis. So I'd say your audience is there. There's over 8 billion video views per day on Facebook. People spend 3 times longer watching live video compared to standard uploaded or linked video. So they are spending more time watching this, like my live show here, than they are watching a YouTube embed or a meme that someone embeds. You see what I'm saying? The live video. And why live video? Because it's engaging. Because I can look right here at the comments, and Petra said that yes, it's worth it, absolutely. So we're talking about, is it worth it if one life is changed? Is it worth it to live stream? I'm engaging with Petra right here. She says, yes, it's definitely worth it. I think I have to start doing vocal exercises. Okay. The number of videos posted per person increased by 75% in 2015. Now, so from 2014 to 2015, 75% jump in the amount of videos that people posted on a regular basis, right? And we just finished 2016. So when those numbers come out, I think they're going to be mind-blowingly high. Video posts have a 135% greater organic reach than photo posts. We share basically more videos than we do share pics or text. And in 2015, Facebook users watched more than 1 million hours of video using like the Samsung Gear VR or the Oculus Rift or one of those VR devices. So what that tells us is that we're moving into virtual reality and 360-degree video, and it's going to become a regular part of our video consumption. So that, just we're not even talking about just regular live streaming. You're going to be eventually doing like 360 live streaming. You're going to have a camera, hanging somewhere in your auditorium or up on the stage with your worship band or something. Eventually, you're going to be incorporating 360 video into your worship service. And we're just talking about turning a camera on right now. So, one of the cool things about Facebook Live is that if you are following somebody, you will get a notification that says, hey, Dave's gone live. I scheduled the live thing this morning. Those of you that are following me got a notification and saw it in my feed or saw it in the Church Training Academy feed, or if you're one of our members, you saw it in the private Facebook group saying, Church Church Training Academy scheduled a live feed. And they're going to get notified, the people that are following you, whether it's a church member or anybody that's liked your page or that's following you personally, they're going to get a notification saying that it goes live. This one right here is a perfect example. I have a friend that I've talked to her on Facebook a couple of times in the last 15 years, but I haven't seen her in 15 years. And I was doing a test in my studio, and all of a sudden she says, "Hey, you just popped up on my screen in the right-hand corner." And it was like we hadn't really communicated much in the last 15 years. But because she follows me, when I went live, Dave Curley is on Facebook Live right now. And the interaction. That is one of the biggest parts of Facebook Live is the interaction. And, I talked about we've got the more produced live event kind of live streams, and then we've got like the quick hits. Both of them are more engaging because you are watching it as it happens, okay? The quick hits are even more engaging because they are random, they are raw, they are happening right now. It's the equivalent of digital voyeurism, if you want to say. We've all got this voyeuristic itch that we want to scratch, and if you say you don't, then you're lying because you do. Because I know I do, because when I'm just driving around at night, and sometimes I need to think, and I hop in the car and just kind of go drive around and try to work an idea out or something. If I'm driving through a neighborhood looking at pretty houses or something, and I notice that, there's a glow coming from one of the houses, and they've got their picture window or something, and I look in there and it's like, oh, hey, look, they're watching Daredevil on Netflix, That little, I wonder what's going on inside over there. That little itch to look in their window as you drive by is the, and I don't mean it in a creepy way, so don't even think I'm like, being creepy and, parked out in front or anything like that. I'm just talking that little what's going on over there. The same thing that the same thing that when you're sitting at dinner and you hear someone at the table over talking about something, you kind of get quiet for a sec because you want to hear what they're talking about. That same little thing is what makes these quick hits, these in the moment live streams, so engaging. You get to participate in something that you're not participating in. So what can we do with live as a church or as a ministry? One of the biggest things that live lets you do is it lets you share the message, share the gospel, share the ministry beyond the walls of your church. So people who can't be there, like we just had a video here of a couple that is homebound for the foreseeable future. They're able to participate in the worship service live as it is happening. Not just Monday when they upload it to the website, but Sunday morning as their normal schedule is. So they can still get up and go sit down in the chair, grab the iPad, and participate in the service with their spouse in this case, and through that camera, the rest of the audience, the rest of the congregation. It also gives searchers, people that are looking for a new church, a way to test out your church and to determine whether they want to come there or not. And like I said earlier, if you guys don't have a website, you're way behind. Okay, if you do have a website and you are not publishing your content every week on your website, again, you're way behind. People now are going to go to Google, the #1 search engine in the world, and or YouTube, the second search engine in the world, and they're going to search for your church. So when you move to a new area, you're going to sit down just like everybody else, and you're going to open up Google, and you're going to say Baptist churches. And because Google is local and it can do local searching and stuff, it's going to come up and go, Tay Springs Baptist Church in Arlington, Texas. And it's going to go First Baptist Church, Arlington. And then it's going to go, First Baptist Dallas or First Baptist Fort Worth or whatever else. And then you'll be able to click on those, and then we'll go to that website, and then we're going to say, what's the mission statement? Who are we? If the church is smart, they have a new here, first-time visitor, that kind of thing, and where they introduce the ministries in the church, and maybe a message from the pastor, and then you're going to be able to watch a service or watch last week's service or whatever like that, so that you can determine, hey, this guy says, what's on my heart and stuff. This speaks to me. I'm going to go check it out. And in an afternoon, that person may go through 5 or 6 different churches and determine that on Sunday they're going to go to your church versus somebody else's church. Doing the quick hits, it helps you build your church's culture. There are a lot of people that are apathetic towards church. They may have been raised in the church. They may even be hostile to the church. Using live video and using these quick hits and these quick videos that you engage with and either put on the church's website or on the church's Facebook page or what have you can help share the culture and the hearts of the people in your church, whether it's volunteers, like in the media team, or whether it's the pastor, or if our pastor grabs his phone and goes live on Facebook and runs into our youth director's office, what are you working on right now? While he's printing shirts or doing something like that, and they're giggling about something or being silly or laughing or just sharing what's going on or something like that. That is a very informal, unobtrusive, non-threatening way to show people a little bit about your church and about the people involved in your church, and that it's not whatever it is that's keeping them away. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Basically, one of the things that is probably the biggest thing that it does is it helps a person that does not go to your church or is looking for a church or is looking for answers in their life, helps them to know, like, and trust you. Know, like, and trust is really huge. I'm going to be completely transparent with you right here. The whole reason I'm doing this live show is to build a relationship with you, the people that I want to reach with my company, Church Training Academy. But you don't know me. Some of you guys know me. You may know me from Geek Beat TV. You may know me from Geeks Life. You may know me over the past 10 years, the stuff that I've been doing and producing. You may have seen me at a conference. You may have heard me speak at a conference or something. But in the church world, you don't know me. You don't know that I've been doing, church media off and on like my whole life. You don't know that I currently, volunteer in the sound booth at our church and do the live streaming there. You don't know that I've been live streaming for 10 years and I've been doing video production for 20 years. You don't know that. You don't know who I am. I don't have any credibility in your world. So I'm doing this live show to build a relationship with you so that you can learn from the experience that I've had over the past 20 years in podcasting and video production and live streaming and marketing and publishing and all this kind of stuff. So does that make sense? I build a know, like, trust relationship with you. I hope that over time you'll come to see me as a resource. In the same way, people that are hostile to the gospel, or maybe not even hostile to God, but hostile to organized religion, using live video, especially these quick hit things that you can, and those are the things that you can start right now. So you may not have a video camera, you may not have a computer or a production switcher or anything like that you need to get started with live streaming this Sunday. You may be working towards that over the next couple of weeks, or the next couple of months, or whatever. But you can do live streaming now and add that to your ministry, engaging with people throughout your Facebook page right now, and start immediately building a relationship with people beyond the walls of your church in the hopes that you will help to change their lives, whether they come into your church directly, become a member of your church, or whether you're only engaging with them online and you're still able to help change their lives. That's the whole goal. Is it worth it? I think it is. You tell me. I'm going to talk to the folks in the comments, see if there's any comments or anything, and if not, then we are going to wrap it up for the day. Let me see. Let me jump over here. Let's see what Jordan is saying. this wonderful, brilliant young woman named Catherine Matthews Curley says in the chat, says that even if just one person watches, has the experience, is able to see the church service, etc., it's worth it. And that's right. I think it is. So if you guys have any questions, I know we have a little bit of a delay between Facebook and me talking right this very second. If you guys have any questions, I would love to answer them. Otherwise, I will wrap up for the day and get back to creating content for you guys. I'm going to go check out YouTube real quick and see if anybody said anything over there. Yeah, over Petra is sort of dual streaming here. She's watching both through YouTube and through Facebook, and she makes a good point. She said, "Oops, my screensaver just kicked on. There we are." She says you should make it as easy as possible to connect with your community or future community members. That is exactly right. Lowering the barrier of entry, and I'll share this story before we go. Hang on, I need a drink. A couple of weeks back, I was getting things ready at our church for the service, and I was, tweaking the cameras a little bit, and making sure that, these setups that I have in my TriCaster, where I've got one window. Well, I mean, look at this. Here's one right here, where I've got the computer in one window and the image of me in another window. So I do that at our church, where I've got the scripture going. Let's see. I'll do it towards y'all. Here we go. I got the scripture right here, and I got the pastor right here. And I was working on that and getting it tweaked and all this sort of stuff. And the sound guy, who's a genius on the soundboard, I'm not going to lie, he said, so, what all can you do with this thing? And I started explaining things to him. And I told him, I said, one of the things I want to do, and it's funny, you guys are going to hear me mention this a lot because I love it. I said, well, one of the things I want to do, the next upgrade I want to do, is to get a Boxcaster. And you guys remember last week we talked with Gordon over at Boxcaster, and he said, "What's a Boxcaster?" And I said, "Well, it's a hardware device that basically lets me take the TriCaster and take a program feed out of the TriCaster and plug it into the Boxcaster, and then plug that into the internet, and then it lets me stream not only to the Boxcast service, but then also simulcast to any other service." So what I want to do is I want to have our services streaming embedded on our church's website, but then also have a Facebook Live feed going, and then also have something on the YouTube Live channel. And he said, "Well, why do we need to stream to multiple platforms?" And I said, "To reach more people." And he said, "Well, why don't they just come to our church's website?" And I said, "Well, how many of them do you think know that our church exists?" And he's like, "Okay." And I said, the people in our church, the people that go here, know that they can go to our church's website and get information, find out, how to register for camp and see last week's service and, subscribe to the podcast, and they can do all that sort of stuff because they're members here, and because before the service on the announcement screens, we have things going up that says, hey, subscribe on iTunes, and, go to the church's website and watch last week's service and register for camp and all that sort of stuff because they go here. They're a part of this community. I said, but you got people that don't go here that are on Facebook off and on throughout the day. That's their social network. They don't use Twitter. They may use Instagram. They don't use YouTube. The only time they ever really use YouTube is if somebody posts something in Facebook. So they're just on Facebook. They communicate with their friends on Facebook, with their old school buddies. Their social media world is in Facebook. So then you got kids, like my kids, they don't have Facebook accounts, but they do have YouTube accounts. And they're on YouTube. And it's funny, when we sit down to watch a show here at our house, any given evening, our girls, they may watch the show with us, but more than likely what they're doing is they're sitting there watching YouTube on their laptop. So YouTube, for a lot of people, is their social media. It's their social network. They are engaging with YouTube creators. They're watching content created by these people doing whatever it is, whether it's a family vlog. My girls really love different family vlogs. Whether it is people like Miranda Sings or the Wasabi Brothers or whatever, that is the TV that they're watching. So then, my girls are still young. They don't have Facebook accounts, but a lot of people, a lot of millennials and stuff, they may not even be on Facebook. They're only on YouTube. So we want to reach them. YouTube is the second largest search engine, I guess technically whatever the search engine in China is, because they got more people, but for the sake of argument, the two largest search engines on the planet are Google and YouTube. So we want, I would think, we want that when someone sits down in YouTube and says, what does the Bible say about? Or what does God say about? That our church would be one of the ones that is providing that answer. If it's about marriage, what does the Bible say about marriage? Well, if we have a Bible study series that we're doing on marriage, and in the title it says, what does the Bible say about marriage? Well, someone sits down at YouTube and says, what does the Bible say about marriage? Or they go to Google and say, what does the Bible say about marriage? And Google is able to say, well, there's a YouTube video over here whose title is, what does the Bible say about marriage? So I'm going to show them that. And it's the one that we created. We are now helping to minister to that person, showing them what the Bible says about marriage, and reaching that person. Now, that person got on Google and said, what does the Bible say about marriage? They did not go to TateSprings.com and then hit the little search button and say, what's the Bible say about marriage? They didn't know about us. Now they do. Get the picture? So I will leave you with that. And if someone doesn't have a question, I will leave it with that. Thank you guys so much for watching. You know what? Hang on. Got to bring up a title. Hang on. Let's see here. There we go. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you are thinking about streaming, if you are wanting to stream, if the idea of streaming has crossed your mind, but you're not sure what to do, you want to go a little bit more in depth, I've got a free guide for you. You can go to churchtrainingacademy.com/streameasy. There's a free guide called Live Streaming for Churches the Easy Way, and it's an overview, and it can show you what streaming is, what can be done with it, and some ideas on how you can get started right now, some of the things that we talked about today. So go over there, drop your name, drop your email, and I will shoot you that guide for free, and then maybe we can start a discussion about how to start incorporating live streaming at your church. If you guys, I'm curious, if you guys are needing some one-on-one coaching or wanting to pick my brain a little bit about how to get streaming set up at your church, if that's something that you guys would be interested, I would love if you guys would send me an email, dave@davecurley.com. Let's see here. Here's my name. Dave@davecurley.com, or you can email me, dave@churchtrainingacademy.com, and let me know. I'm just curious. That's something that people have approached me, and I've helped them. My question basically is this something that I need to be doing on a regular basis, or something that that you guys would like from me, whether it is like in a group coaching session or whether it is in a one-on-one, me helping you guys at your church get it set up. So just let me know. Anyway, also, like I said, be sure to go to churchtrainingacademy.com/streameasy and get your free guide. Thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic week. The replay of this, the blog post and all that, is going to be coming out on Tuesday. It'll be at churchtrainingacademy.com/002 because this is episode 2. So until then, I will see you guys later. Have a fantastic week. Have a great weekend, and God bless.